I would challenge everybody watching, how many listings do you want to get between now and the end of September? What's your number, right? And then put that number on the wall in front of you and look at it every day, right? And be determined to do that, right? And maybe that number could be a number to help you catch up from when things were shut down earlier this year. Maybe that number is to put you over your record year. There's some people that are having amazing years in real estate this year.
Yep.
And so I hope that we don't have people that are, and I wonder, I think there's also some people that have thought, you know what, this is the throwaway year. It is what it is. And I'm here to tell you, and Amy, I think that you would agree that it doesn't have to be that way. Welcome back, Amy, and happy Wednesday.
Oh, thank you much.
So we're seeing demand is outpacing the inventory, right? This just continues week after week in the stats that Eyerusalem shares.
Yeah.
She mentioned the inventory crunch. So today I wanted to talk about some dialogues, some scripts. I almost hate to use the word scripts because then agents are like, la, 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 when they hear the word script. Scripts and dialogues to help agents get more listings. And we were talking a few minutes before the show about, who gets the most listings. And we were saying it's typically those that talk to the most people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And the busiest agents are in front of the most people. And I think that you and I, one of the questions that we ask when we onboard a new coaching client is, how many people do you know, right? How many people are in your sphere? How often are you in touch with them? And occasionally we get somebody that's new to a town, or they're very young and they don't know anybody. And we immediately think, gosh, we need to get these people in front of more people, right? Whether it's open houses or doing FSBOs and expireds. It's the more people that you talk to, the more business you're going to do.
Right.
So today, let's talk about getting listings and the fact that, one of the things that I think we need to be focused on is actually getting listings and having the mindset of I'm a listing agent.
Yep.
We've talked before about if we're running a retail store and I'm a real estate agent, and I've used this example before, the Pottery Barn example, and I'm an agent that doesn't have any listings, and I've got my Pottery Barn store, but there's no furniture in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder why I don't have any clients, anybody walking in. But it's like, if you're in the mall and you look over at Pottery Barn and there's no furniture there, but there's 4 salespeople, are you going to go in? Well, no. But if we have listings, right, then you have people coming to you. So we've said, I think, my father said 20, 30 years ago, listing agents control the market, right? In other words, you always have leads, you always have people coming to you, and buyer agents, you don't really know where your next client's going to be. So, but if you've got listings in the pipeline, then you're going to get sign calls. If you're back to doing open houses, you're going to get people, coming in that way, et cetera, et cetera. So what are your thoughts on, I guess, let's start with mindset around I am a listing agent, right?
Oh, absolutely. So I think if anybody listening doubts that part, right? So we're speaking to those of you who are kind of struggling with that concept that you are a listing agent. Growing to be a strong listing agent requires skill, right? Which requires practice, which requires time. You can shorten all that by starting today, right? Take advantage of the resources we've shared with you numerous times to make sure that you have a checklist that you can follow so you'll provide good service once they finally say, hey, I need to move, right? I think some people are afraid to market for listings because what if somebody said yes and then they wouldn't know what to do? So take advantage of the resources we have shared with you on the allegianceway.com. Have a checklist, read it. What if you just spent 2 hours today reading through all the resources we've provided to you? I promise you, your skill will grow exponentially. So commit commit to becoming better at it, and it will feel way more confident when you call people. And we can talk about the what do you say when you call, but Charlie, I think we kind of psych ourselves out in this concept, right? That it's so challenging. The truth is, helping people list their homes means asking really valid, genuine questions about their needs and their timeline, writing it all down in a place you won't lose it, marketing their house really well, and managing multiple offers in this current market.
Yep.
And if you don't know how to do that, run ask your managing broker, trainer, mentor, coach. You've got 7 days, practice every single day, and promise yourself you'll get better. I'm not saying it'll be easy. I'm saying it'll be worth it.
No, I like it. So lots of resources on the Allegiance Way. Click on both the Daily Dose and get more sellers. And if you're one of those people that has had on your to-do list for 6 months now to get that pre-listing presentation done, let's get it underway, right? Because that may keep you from picking up the phone, right? This mindset of, uh-oh, what if somebody does say yes, like you were alluding to a minute ago? Then what? Then I've got to come up with a listing presentation that I don't have. I'm going to hack up a CMA and use it as a listing presentation, right? Like I've been doing. But let's.
Do you want to make a pitch then, Charlie, to all the RE/MAX Allegiance agents listening? But
about the pre-listing presentation, absolutely, yes.
Get it done.
So go on to theallegianceway.com, click on Toolbox, click on Marketing, and you'll find the example there, and you can get it ordered. This is a custom project. If you order it today, you're not going to have it in your hot little hands by 5 o'clock tonight. So get in the queue, right? So we overcome this call reluctance of, well, I don't want to call anybody because I'm not ready, right? So we should have been in touch with our people all along. This pandemic has given us the ability to call people when they're at home, they're working from home. I think a lot of us are more used to this than perhaps we were. But, the homeschooling, it sounds like, is going to be coming up again in some areas just in a couple of weeks, right? I don't know of too many school districts that are going to be going back, full time just yet, right? So there's going to be some of this distance learning. So parents are going to get frazzled again. We were saying at kind of the beginning of the pandemic that people want to hear from us. And because when everything was, really shut down, people were wondering what was going on in the real estate market. Some of us took advantage of that time to make those calls and to have those easier conversations, and some of us didn't. But it's time to follow up. And I think that let's do a challenge, Amy, of can we call everybody in our sphere, everybody that we know, in the next 2 months, between August and September, and just have a conversation with them, right? We don't need to spend a bunch of time today, I hope, talking about building rapport, right? Just being yourself, calling people. We're not calling expireds. We're not calling strangers, right? These are people that already know you. So you're going to call them. For those out there that may still be concerned about, what to say, the FORD acronym: family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. You can always start there. Hey, how's the family? I hope when you're having these conversations, you're at home, you're in front of your computer, you're in front of your CRM, you've pulled up the notes from the last time you talked to them that you can refer to, and then you're going to take notes based on the conversation that you're going to have with them today. Because the whole point of the CRM is that you're building this database of stuff about them, right? If you don't have their date of birth, ask, hey, I'd love to send you something on your birthday. Do you mind sharing with me your month and day that you were born? People are not going to object to that, right? And then you can go to Cheryl's Cookies and send them a $5 cookie card, right? Instead of going to Walmart and getting a bunch of birthday cards. So let's get into what to say. We're focused on listings. We're ready. We've built rapport, right? We're not calling just to, this is not just the reason for our call. I think, one really good line is, with everything that's happened, are you living in your dream home now? Because for so many people, it's like, well, hell no, right? I'm living in a condo. We have no outdoor space and the roof's been closed. And I need a place that I can go outside because, this has been crazy. We've been locked in here and I need a balcony, right? Or, you know what? I love my spouse. but we're both working from home now, and a studio doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Right? We're both on Zoom all the time, and it's become a real problem.
Yeah.
It's time to move up to the 1-bedroom, or it's time to move up to the townhouse, right? So I think for a lot of people, that question, the answer is no. Does that mean that they want to move? Not necessarily, right? But as you and I have spoken about so many times, you and I are in tune with this market, right? Our agents are in tune with this market, and we're arming them with news 3 days a week that they can use. We talk about rates 3 days a week now. We talk about the market 3 days a week now. And we know that rates are at historic lows. We know that more listings go under contract every week, both in Hampton Roads and in the DC metro area, than come on every week. So we know this, but our clients don't know this. I don't think our clients know the demand. Our clients are not paying attention to rates, right? Unless they've seen it on the news or whatever, right? They're working from home. They're trying to raise their kids. They're worried about their elderly dog, whatever it is, right? They're living their life. And I think sometimes since realtors are so focused on the market and we're in almost this little realtor bubble, we don't consider that's not everybody.
Sure.
Right? Not everybody knows that rates are low. Not everybody knows that inventory is, at historic lows. So as we go over these questions today, I would challenge everybody watching to call, to build rapport, to ask these questions, but to really listen. And you and I both know that that's the hardest part of being a coach, right? And I've even challenged coaching clients at one time or another to wear a certain piece of jewelry or to put a rubber band on their wrist when they're talking to people. And it's a cue to shut up. Shut up and listen. They'll glance down, they'll see that rubber band down there, and they go, and just listen. So when you ask these questions, you're paying attention and you're listening for the the hesitation. Somebody might say, "Oh, we're in our dream home. This is great." Right? Thank God we moved up 2 years ago, because if we were still in that condo, we would have killed each other, right? So are you living in your dream home considering everything that's going on? Question number one. Second question, with everything happening, have you had any thoughts of selling, trading up, trading down in some cases? And again, shh, ask the question, shh. And just listen. Listen for the ums, the uhs, the hesitation, the this, or that. Some people, there may be no hesitation, right? Third question, with the increase in demand and few homes to choose from, at what price do you become a seller? Because I've used this example before. If somebody knocked on my door right now with a suitcase full of $1 million and says, "Have you had any thoughts of selling? Here's $1 million." I'm like, "Did you bring boxes with you?" Because we out of here, right? So we all have our price. We all have our price.
I love that you bring boxes with you. So that would be something for the agent to be prepared with. I have boxes. Just
right.
Say that.
When we actually have an agent at Remax Allegiance, he has branded moving boxes, and he brings them to the listing with him, right? It's this Tom Faison, it's all these cardboard boxes. So anyway. So again, you're asking that question, and again, it's with the increase in demand and few houses to choose from, at what price do you become a seller? Because there may be some people where their price is the reality now. Their price is the reality if you get 7 offers like we're seeing in the suburbs. And there's a lot of people that are living in condominiums right now that are thinking about the suburbs, right? And I'm seeing a little bit of a softening of the condo market in downtown DC, a little bit, nothing major. But I think people are thinking, do I want to be in a high rise with 300 other people and sharing elevators in the lobby and touching the same doorknob that everybody's touched, whether the housekeepers have been, keeping it clean or not, right? I mean, it's just people are thinking, right? And I think we've all heard in the news that there's a lot of people leaving New York City for New Jersey. I've got a client in New Jersey who's like the busiest city he's ever been. And it's people leaving New York for some houses in Jersey. They're tired of, Co-op Canyon and this and that. People thinking about it. So it's our job, I think, to take these thoughts that people are having and to educate them, right? We want to be the knowledge broker. oh, interesting, right? You won $1 million. It turns out that, did you know that such and such unit in your building sold for, 950, 6 weeks ago. So $1 million may not be, untouchable, right? So, knowing the market, because our clients don't. So that's the quote unquote script, the dirty word, the scripts. So we presented this challenge. What are your thoughts on this? And I don't think these scripts are particularly salesy. It's just asking simple questions. And I think, a show or two ago, you talked about, one of your questions of, do you plan to move this year, right? Just very basic.
Yeah.
So, but if we don't ask, we don't know. And I am concerned based on stories that I've heard from agents that they catch up with people. They don't ask any of these questions. Hey, how's it going? Okay, great. Nice talking to you. Click. And it's just like, is that an opportunity lost?
Sure.
Right. And, once you get through these questions, the last one can be, who do you know who may be looking to sell or to buy? Right. Because they may know somebody. And in my experience, if we don't ask, they're not necessarily going to volunteer the information because, again, they're not thinking about it. They're not thinking real estate when we call them. Right. So what are your, we've got plenty of time left to continue to talk about this sort of a thing. So I know you have thoughts. What are they?
Well, the truth is that there's a trainer from years ago who said, you don't have to be good. You just have to be there, which is kind of ridiculous.
There's some truth to that, though.
And I hate it because I am a quality trainer, right?
Yeah.
But if you're not there, that's the first thing. And I will tell you, I started texting using the First.io app.
Okay.
Texting my past clients and texting people I hadn't texted in ages.
Yeah.
And they were immediately responding with, hey, oh my goodness, it's so good to hear from you. Yeah, we moved to Oregon last year. Now, I want you guys to understand, I am the worst when it comes to following up with my past clients because I am a coach and a trainer. My eye is definitely off the ball.
Yep.
So I'm not saying I'm a good example, but I may be a typical example. Right?
I think so. Yeah.
My excuse is I'm running this other business, but still, thrilled to hear from me. But some of them knew that I had moved into a training and coaching role. Had I not emphasized enough that I would also happily help them sell their home. So in my case, it was just being out of touch. It really was.
Right.
They were thrilled to hear from me. So you just got to be in contact. So don't overthink it. Use any of the scripts Charlie shared. Try them all. Try them in rotation. Call, text, email. Email blast is not a conversation. We've had that talk a lot. But I will tell you, Charlie, the number of coaches who push back on me when I just automatically say call without thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, really? Do I have to call them? What if they don't pick up? Like they're working, like you said, in a small space with another working spouse and homeschooling their children. I don't know that they want to pick up the phone. And I think that's perfectly legit. I don't think that that's a dodgy question on the part of the agents that we coach. Right. I think texting is excellent.
Yep.
Right? And I will tell you, I just sat there and texted, and it was incredible the percentage engagement I got. Think about how often any of us answer our phones, thanks to all the robo-dial and everything else. Right. I'm not discouraging calling, but if that doesn't work for you, texting works great.
Yeah, and, I would say that if they don't want to answer, then they won't answer. So what if you called? If you didn't get an answer, I would not leave a voicemail. I mean, I think most people can universally agree that we hate voicemail. But then maybe it's a little video text.
Yep.
Hey, it's Charlie with Remax. Amy, just wanted to reach out and see how things were going. It's been a little while since we've spoken. Hit me back when you get a chance.
Yeah.
Done. Right? Done. And if you want to get back with me, you will. If you don't, you would. You don't. So, if some clients are in, I think stressful situations, and you just want to text, that's cool. But I do sometimes think that people tend to overthink this.
Absolutely.
Right? And that the super driven agents that are like the high Ds, right? I'm not talking about the agents that say they're driven. I'm talking about like the high Ds. It's like they don't even think about this. They're just on the phone.
Yeah.
Right? They're just on the phone.
Yeah.
And by the time, And analytical is like, well, what if this happens and that happens? They've already had 5 phone calls and they have a listing appointment scheduled. So I agree.
I think that's a really good point about the overthinking. And certain personality types don't.
Yeah,
they just don't overthink it. And here's the thing that I say a lot lately. Our job is not to force people to move.
Right.
That's not what we do for a living. So any of you who are afraid of being salesy or pushy, please don't, right? Yep. It's our job to be there when they need us. But if you wait until past when they needed you, calling may not be effective, right? So the more you stay in touch with them,
right,
the more you'll be in the path of the business when the need arises.
Yeah, they may have already moved to Oregon or moved to Arlington, or, you know, this has happened to all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. So just, you got to stay in touch. You got to stay in touch. You got to provide service, and don't overthink it. Call for no reason at all. I had a trainer say to me once, Charlie, he said, if you called 100 people out of the phone book and said, I'm a realtor and I have no idea why I called you, one of them would list. He said, it's a numbers game.
It is a numbers game. Yep. Yep. So the challenge, August and September, let's call or text everybody that we know. Let's get into a conversation with everybody that we know. And you can have a conversation like you alluded to a minute ago over the phone or over text that is much more challenging over email. But a quick plug for our e-newsletter service. Right. So those that are RE/MAX Allegiance agents that are watching that have not subscribed to the electronic newsletter, you can again go to theallegianceway.com and click on the toolbox and scroll down to electronic newsletter. And our team develops a newsletter for you twice a month. It goes out to everybody that you know twice a month. We set the whole thing up for you. We use your MailChimp account, but we'll get it set up for you. And it's just a great way to stay in touch if you've not been picking up the phone as often as perhaps you should. So, and then other ways to stay in touch, you know, we've talked about the annual home value reports and, you know, many other ways. So this isn't just that, you know, today's topic is more about getting listings and having the mindset of being a listing agent and not necessarily staying in touch with Sphere. What other thoughts do you have today to kind of wrap this up around, you know, I think the challenge is, you know, I would challenge everybody watching, how many listings do you want to get between now and the end of September? What's your number, right? And then put that number on the wall in front of you and look at it every day, right? And be determined to do that, right? And maybe that number could be a number to help you catch up from when things were shut down earlier this year. Maybe that number is to put you over your record year. There's some people that are having amazing years in real estate this year.
Yep. Yep.
And so I hope that we don't have people that are, and I wonder, I think there's also some people that have thought, you know what, this is the throwaway year. It is what it is. And I'm here to tell you, and Amy, I think that you would agree that it doesn't have to be that way. There's still time left to list properties and to sell properties and to take advantage of this low inventory for sellers and to take advantage of these low rates for buyers. I think this is a great opportunity still to finish the year strong.
It absolutely is. And Charlie, you and I are seeing it. So many of our clients have surpassed their sales from last year so far this year. Absolutely incredible opportunities. And I think bringing it back around to mindset, you said, how do you shift your mindset to say, I am a listing agent. I am a listing agent. And I've shared before the story of a new agent who was pretty strong with buyers. First year in my training program, she had did 30 transactions her first year, really strong year, but hated listings and just wasn't sure why. And I said, well, it's because you had one bad experience and you ran away and you quit practicing.
Right.
So she started practicing her listing presentation. She said, I'm going to read it out loud to myself once a day to tell the universe I'm ready for listings. There's something to be said for just saying, I'm ready. Just say it. I'm ready for listings. So Charlie, to your point, putting your goals up on the wall, when you set the time and you start making those calls, do have an intention to set appointments. And this is another thing, Charlie, you said, are you chitty chatting? Are you just, being friendly and you're forgetting to ask for the business? That's one step. But I think another thing is if you would just realize that every week when you call, the intention should be to set appointments.
Yes.
That will really help you. I had a friend who had he was on a team, he had this massive database, and he called all the time. He was super faithful. And we started talking about, how do you set appointments? Is that the goal, set appointments? And he said, no, I never thought of that. And that was a game changer for him to just go into it with an intention of, how many appointments can I set this week? Absolute game changer. So be proactive. If you have not taken advantage of our training to do Zoom listing presentations, if they're uncomfortable, depending on your jurisdiction, whatever COVID is, in my area, it's extremely stringent. I have to take my temperature before I interface with the public, and I have to keep it in a log. And it's really, really strict where I am. Don't let this deter you. Absolutely not.
Right.
So practice your listing processes every single day. Get on the phone and be engaged with people, be in community, find out what their needs are, set as many appointments as possible, and start getting prepared to have Zoom appointments. Those are a game changer as well. Charlie, I have coaching clients who say post-COVID, they're never giving Zoom back.
Yeah. I think it's the wave of the future.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it's less threatening for clients as well. And it's a great way to build rapport and to get more business. So I'm a lean, mean appointment setting machine.
Yes.
We will leave it there. Always good to see you, Amy.